but I cannot get over the fact that they look like little maggots. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Montana and I was an exchange student in Germany. Today I'm going to be talking about some German things that make me cringe. I wanted to start off with a little disclaimer though, because obviously if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I love Germany and German culture. So I wouldn't want to like offend you guys at all if you are German, but some of the things that I have are just kind of gross or cringy to me as an American, and I wanted to share them with you guys. These can kind of be seen as culture shocks as well. I'm just gonna get on with it so you guys know what I'm talking about. So the first thing, I lived in Passau, which is in Bayern, while I lived in Germany, and the first thing that I have that I think is like makes me ugh, is Weisswurst. So actually I like the taste of it, but I cannot get over the fact that they look like little maggots. If you don't know what these are, it's like this white sausage that's more traditional in southern Germany, and they don't taste bad in my opinion. Like I ate them a lot and I think they actually taste pretty good, but they just look kind of gross, and every time I eat and see them I'm like, ugh. Some people eat them with the skin off. Like I think that's more traditional, like you cut it in half and then you eat the sausage out instead of eating the whole like skin of the sausage, if that makes sense. The next thing that kind of made me cringe or gag is also a food, and it's those raw meat patties. I need to figure out what they're called because I only ate one, and it was at one of our mid-year seminars. So all the American exchange students, we went to Oberwesel, which is a super small like dwarf kind of, or maybe it's bigger than a dwarf, in Germany, and every morning for breakfast they had those. Okay, so I looked it up and it's called Met. Let me know if that's wrong. But it says it's a preparation of minced raw pork that is popular in Germany, Poland, and Belgium. And so you just have this raw meat, I can put a picture too, and you'd serve it on bread or maybe alone. Like the ones we had were like kind of this big and just raw meat patties, and oh, I don't know, I guess just as an American, like we're always told you have to cook your beef and it could have like salmonella or bugs and stuff in it. So just seeing that, I was like, no, I cannot eat that raw meat. And that was definitely a culture shock, because when you think about German food, I definitely thought of like sausage and pretzels and beer and stuff like that, but more traditional things like the like Käsespätzle or like the Knödel and stuff like that, and this Met or meat you never think of. And so that was definitely something different for me. One of the main things that I find so cringe in Germany that I could not get over was doing math with a pen. Oh gosh, when I first like went to math class and saw that everyone was using those blue pens, I could not believe it, because in the US we only do math with pencil, and even from kindergarten to 12th grade, it's something that your teacher's like, you have to do your math with pencil, that way you can erase your mistakes and then redo it. And I know with those German pens, they have like erasers for them, these special eraser pens, but I just still did not understand, like, why not just use a pencil, and then you could just so easily turn the pencil upside down and erase it if you make a mistake. Maybe that was just my school, but I'm pretty sure it's a German thing to like use pen instead of pencil, because most of my classes, we would take notes in pen, and like everybody in the class was using pen. Even I had a class of 5th graders because my German was so bad, so I had German of 5th graders and they all used pen. I very rarely saw pencil. Another thing that I think is really cringe was, I'm not sure how popular it was, but I definitely heard it more than once. In German clubs, they play this High School Musical remix, and I think it's the song Breaking Free. It's from the first High School Musical movie, and there's this like EDM pop remix version of it that was very cringe to me at first, but eventually I kind of liked it, and I was like, oh, this is cool, because it's not something that you would hear being played in the US. It was just so funny to see all of these German teens, and especially German teen boys who were like 16, 17, 18, dancing to a High School Musical remix song. Oh, another thing, this is a drink that I thought was super duper cringe. Not necessarily cringe, but it made me cringe, and I was like, ugh, was vodka with sparkles. I don't think I had ever seen that in the US, but in Germany there are a couple different kinds with like total sparkles all in the bottle. You can shake the bottle up and it looks like a volcano of sparkles just like erupted, or like a unicorn just erupted into a bottle because it's so bright and sparkly, and I just can't imagine what is in that makes it still edible or consumable. I know that there's one called like Kinky Queen and it's purple sparkles in a bottle. Not saying that I ever tried it, but it's really gross looking and definitely made me cringe. I'm sure we have that in the US. I had just never seen it before going to Germany, and when I saw it, it made me ugh. Another thing that I do not like and find really gross in Germany is mustard. There's this really funny story. I went to the hospital when I was in Germany and the people were like asking what I was allergic to, and my host mom told them I was allergic to mustard, but I'm not. I just told my host family so many times that I didn't like mustard. They call it Senf in Germany, and there's so much Senf. You eat it with sausages, with pretzels maybe, just you see it a lot, and I for some reason do not like the taste of mustard at all. Germany changed my mind about mayo though. Before going there I hated mayo and I just would never ever eat mayo, but there's this mixture that I saw some of my friends doing and making where they mix ketchup and mayo and then they dip like pommes or fries in it, and it is so good. And now I do that with every single potato meal that I have. So one of the last things that I have that I think is kind of cringe is when Germans use American words but with different meanings. It's not necessarily wrong because it just changes meaning when it goes into a different language, and there's like a lot of English words that do that too, so we can be very cringe as well. But some of the ones I can think of are like nice. I would hear my friends say the word nice so many times because it became German slang. They would use the word nice to describe things that in English you could not say are nice. Okay, so an example would be like a drink. They would say like, oh, das is uber nice, or like super nice. And you wouldn't say that a drink is nice. Like nice is more for people, or like when a dress looks really nice and formal. It's hard to explain, but let me think of another word. There were a few words that I would hear a lot and I was like, that's not necessarily right, but it was not my place to correct them. And also, like I was saying, just words change when they are integrated into another language. I know for me, the like translation of nice was really hard too, and I would totally use it wrong in German because in German nice is nett, but when you want to say it's super pretty outside, in English we would say it's so nice out, and so I would say es ist so nett. And that doesn't mean it's really nice, that means it's really kind out. Those were all the things that I had, all of the German things that make me cringe or that I find kind of weird. Let me know what you think about them. So if you are not German, let me know if you've heard of any of these things or what you think about any of them. And if you are German, let me know if you like all the things I mentioned or if there's some of them that make you cringe as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy. Bleib gesund und tschüss!